Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Suds News. I am Vinny. This is Angela. As always, we are here to talk all about the tea that's going down in Port Charles, New York, all about General Hospital. Angela, how are you today?
I'm here. Sometimes that's the win, right?
Yeah, no, exactly.
I'm loving General Hospital, so there's that.
I am too. I am enjoying it. There's a lot of big stuff that's still coming out. We did take a 1 day break from story continuity this past Tuesday for the 62nd anniversary episode, and we'll get into that in a little while. But overall, the show is great. I love the way the stories are being written, and I'm truly enjoying what's going on. Jump right in, get into the chat, folks, because the water is warm, and we're getting ready to have a great night of Suds News. That's all I could say is it's Sudsy.
Yes, we are.
So we're going to do things a little differently tonight. Because Kim can't join us for Gate Crashers tonight, we're going to do a little bit of combination of more of a condensed version of Suds News along with Gate Crashers tonight in the first episode because there's only going to be two of us and there's no point in stopping, so we'll condense everything into one. But I do have to let everybody know that our Soap Stars March Madness Championship match is live now on Twitter. We have made it, and the championship match is from General Hospital, Ned Quartermain, taking on Days of Our Lives, Steve Johnson. Talk about a powerhouse matchup.
Yes. I know who I voted for.
Yes.
It was a hard one for me.
I know who I voted for as well.
Yes.
Yeah. Definitely a great matchup, great tournament in general. Hi, Quiet Star. Welcome. Hi, Steve. Welcome. Get into that chat room, hit that like button, subscribe, and get notified because you're going to want to know everything that comes out of our networks. We're getting into it. We got a lot of news and notes to go over, and we might as well get started. But I do want to say we are going to be debuting a new segment tonight called the What the Fudge Moment of the Week, and we'll get into that a little later. I also do want to remind everybody this coming Sunday, Angela and I are going down to Stamford, Connecticut to go see Laura Wright, Finola Hughes, and James Patrick Stewart. Is going to be great, and we are going to present Laura Wright with the Lifetime Achievement Championship belt. That shows that we appreciate her work. There's still time if you want to donate to help offset the cost. Go to buymeacoffee.com/Suds Media, and whoever does go ahead and donate, your name will go in the thank you card that we give Laura with the belt, this coming Sunday. So just a lot of stuff going on in Port Charles and Fairmount Crest, but we'll at least get to Port Charles right now.
Yes.
So I got to point this out. Tina on Twitter went ahead and said this. The longer Rick is on, the more I realize just how great he is for the show. Rick Lansing and Rick Hurst, just the best. I mean, obviously the same person, but
yeah. Absolutely. Without a doubt. Absolutely.
I am enjoying
120,000%.
Yes. Whether it's a pairing of Rick and Ava or the Barbs going back and forth between Rick and Alexis, or Rick and Sonny going at it. Just Rick Hurst in general has been a breath of fresh air for this cast. With such a bloated cast as it is, but just the one guy coming back has been fantastic. And he's as of right now, he's no longer fighting.
He's just phenomenal.
Yeah. As of right now, he's no longer fighting for his life after being in the car accident. However, he is woken up. We saw on Friday's episode, and Anya.
Did you watch today yet?
I did watch today.
Have you watched today yet?
Yes, I have. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So yeah, he's back in fighting form.
Oh yeah, he is. He wants to see Kristina.
He's already for. Yeah. Yep.
All right. All right. So we might as well start there. At the end of last Friday's episode, we did get to see how Rick and Elizabeth went off the road because Kristina figured out she cut the wrong brake lines. And now we see the aftermath. Elizabeth with a broken leg.
Yes.
And Rick was fighting for his life for a little while. He's in a coma, but did end up waking up. And the fallout from this is going to be great.
Yes. It is. And it was really funny when Rick was like, "Give me my phone."
Yeah.
He wanted her dragged away by the police. And Ava's like, "Let's not be too hasty, Uncle Rick." He's so funny. She cracks me up.
Oh yeah.
So yeah.
I did like originally how Lucky was at the scene of the crime, scene of the car accident with Kristina, and told her, "Well, just go back to the go back to Charlie's. Say you go in the back door. Say you were doing inventory, and kind of covering for everything."
And then he finds out that Liz was in the car.
Yes, that was classic. Although, I mean,
and he was not happy. It was. Go ahead.
Playing devil's advocate, it was the Rick woke up and remembers seeing Kristina on the street, and that doesn't prove that she did anything. She could have just been, somebody who came across the accident and wanted to see if she could help. Obviously, we know the difference, but that's not going to be, so monumental for their case. But at the same time, Rick, Ava is just piecing everything together.
Yes. Absolutely. Ava pieced that all together quick.
She did.
Right down to finding out for sure that the brakes were cut and getting video of Kristina in the garage getting the wire cutters. I mean, I was impressed by my girl Ava there.
Oh yeah, no, I was very impressed at that too. Just the way that she put everything together very quickly. It seems like there's some kind of a delay between Angela and I, so it's kind of it's kind of funny when seeing the delay in the reactions, but it's not a big deal. Anyways, we're getting into Rick and Ava going after Kristina. Ava, like we said, she went down to the garage. She found out that the brake lines were cut. And then we saw Lucky go to the garage today to try to get some information about the car. And the car is gone. It's being crushed already.
I don't think it has been. I think the guy lied to him. Because that guy was the guy who saw that the brakes were cut.
Yes.
I can't imagine that he would have crushed it after that.
Agreed.
but we'll see. Because Lucky was really relieved when he left. So, yeah.
Anyways, yeah. I want to see where they're going to go with it. I want to see, number one, if see, Lucky made a point to say the guilt that you have is going to be enough of a punishment for you, since neither Rick nor Elizabeth really, neither one of them died. So,
right.
The guilt is going to be enough. And, but it's going to be great to see it play out, because that just means that Rick is going to be around for a little longer. This, short little stint that he was going to be on has ballooned into, quite a lengthy stay. It's been already over 6 months.
Yep.
And I'm enjoying every second of it. I want to see Sonny's reaction when Ava goes after Kristina. I want to see Alexis's reaction when things go down. And then Molly, of course, and Kristina are going to be at odds as well.
Under control. Yeah.
All right. Let's see where to next. I know you're not a Kristina fan, but did you see her in the chapel praying to God, and trying to make a deal with God, trying to say, I promise to be better, I promise this, promise that, just don't don't let them die, let them be okay, I'm so sorry, I know
she reminds me of her father.
She does.
She's exactly like Sonny when Sonny does it.
Yeah. I think this is going to end up being a story.
You know what I mean?
Oh yeah. Sonny, I think they're going to end up
in that moment.
Oh yeah, I agree. I feel like Kristina is going to, I mean, she's already gone off the deep end, but I think that she's going to end up having to be committed to some type of mental institution at this point.
Yeah, I think so too. I mean, it's just, she is so far gone.
She is.
I mean, she's just out of control with and I love Lucky today. Stop blaming it on Ava.
Yeah.
You have to take accountability. And Kristina, I'm sorry. Kristina was nasty for using Sam against him like that.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I thought that it was totally manipulative and
very.
It was just nasty. I was like, you are just your father's daughter.
She really is. And the more I see it, the more I understand why Sonny didn't want any of his kids around the business, because Kristina is now taking right after him. And most of it is probably a mental illness.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's totally possible. She just Alexis and Sonny never reined her in.
No.
No matter what happened, she was coddled forever.
Yeah, no,
so,
she was.
And we're seeing the effects of that, you know.
No, we really are. And Amber posts in the chat room, I wonder where this ends up for Lucky and Liz. And I wonder how Liz is going to react when she finds out that Lucky covered for it.
I think it'll be angst for them. Although I was thinking something today when I was watching her talk about Rick, how he has a good side, and if he could stay on the good side, she could maybe give him another chance. I
Yep.
could kind of see her finding out that Lucky didn't tell the truth about Kristina
Yep.
and giving Rick another shot, only to then find out Rick didn't tell her.
Yeah.
Either. You know what I mean? And Rick didn't do it for, nefarious wanting to blackmail reasons, not because he was guilted into it.
Right.
Like
Exactly.
Lucky was. So I think it's just going to be angst for L&L too.
Mm-hmm.
But today made me think that, they might take a dip in Lyric, but they've already have the setup for how it will blow up.
Oh, I agree. Exactly.
So.
It's definitely a possibility. Quiet Star says, I don't think it's mental illness, though. That's a cop-out. I mean, Kristina is at the point now where she's blaming Ava for everything, whether it's the fall through the window
Right.
or, her, or Sonny having his heart problem and her not wanting to give the pills, yada, 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 yada.
Right.
So she's at the point now where she's definitely misinterpreting it at the very least, but twisting all the facts in her head.
Mm-hmm.
And with Sonny being bipolar, it could be passed down because we saw it with Morgan too.
Yep.
Morgan
It's
was going off the deep end. So
absolutely genetic.
it's absolutely genetic, and I can understand that it could be considered a cop out, but the way that she's going through, whether you want to say it or not, whether you want to understand it or like it or not, it's some form of PTSD from going out the window because she still blames Ava for everything. So whether it's bipolar, PTSD, whatever, it's something that she needs help with.
Mm-hmm. And and my thing is that I'm of two minds with this, because I'm like, I would love to see them do a story where they actually get her the help she needs,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm like, my first thing was, she could go spend some time in Ferncliff. But this is what makes me crazy about this show. Ava's been in Ferncliff. Nina's been in Ferncliff. Alexis, Carly, Laura, Liz. Are we noticing a pattern here?
Yeah.
You know who hasn't been in a mental health care facility?
Sonny. Yeah, exactly.
So there's a part of me going, I do not want to see another woman put into a mental health facility on this show, but this bitch is crazy. So
right.
There's that too.
And it's funny because when you bring that up, they even had an opportunity for. Well, we saw Morgan going into Ferncliff or the mental health facility, and we could have seen, what was his name? Adam. No, I think his name was Adam, the college kid that Maurice Bernard's son played.
Oh, yep.
They could have done a whole storyline with him in a mental institution after trying to, kill himself.
Yeah.
Folks, just to let you know, I don't use the word unalive because it's not a real word. So I will say the actual phrase. I don't care about.
You know why people use the word, right?
Because of YouTube censors or whatever. And
exactly. Yeah, it's the same thing with other, rape and it triggers. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't use that word. It's not part of my vocabulary because it's not a real word, people. But anyways.
Choose your battles, Vin. Choose your battles.
You're absolutely right. So I agree with everything you said, but I don't think it's mental illness. That would be lazy. But I do agree Kristina needs professional help. And she
Mhm.
was going to get grief therapy at GH. Was that dropped? I don't know if that was dropped or not. Maybe she's going to, I don't know. We haven't seen her in any of the grief
Yeah.
counseling like Willow and Michael were in previously.
Mm-hmm.
We haven't
I
seen
mean, they
any of
said
it.
that she was doing it, and then we haven't seen her do it since they said
Right.
she was doing it. So it's like, who knows?
Who
Who
knows?
knows with this show?
Yeah.
Things get dropped. Things get dropped a lot. And some things we just have to assume happened.
Right. It happened off screen. Like, all right, let's move on to it. Like Josh,
Mm-hmm.
like Joss's training with the WSB. There's no way in
Yes.
3 weeks that she's gone through the entire academy and graduated, and now she's already a field agent.
And I understand that, but like when people bitch about that, I stare at them in Emily and Lucas, who went through medical school in about the
Oh yeah,
same amount of time.
Willow became a nurse in 2 months.
Exactly. TJ,
Yep.
Molly with law school, I mean, please stop it. Stop it.
I'm okay. Yeah, I'm okay with them, changing the timelines and speeding up certain things like
Right.
that. There's no way you're going to do a storyline of 3 years of or whatever of Josh
Right. And
going through training.
Did people really want months? I mean, I enjoyed it, but it would get really repetitive. People were already complaining that it was repetitive.
Yeah.
Did they want more months of that? Because, okay. I'm not sure that would bring the bitching amount down.
Yes.
But then again, nothing brings the bitching amount down. So.
Well, no, you're absolutely right. Nothing does. Agreed. Although I'm wondering now, because Joss is now her first assignment is back in Port Charles, and Vaughn is going to watch her.
Yes.
She had a great scene today with Carly and Jason and Jack, and I like how I like how as soon as Brendan comes in, Joss goes off on him because her mom got poisoned, while in his hotel room.
Jason's facial expressions during that all day today, when one, he's totally on to Josh. He knows there's something going on here.
Yep.
He is like, and then when she was asking Carly, are you sleeping with him? And Carly's like, my relationship with Brennan is none of your business. And Josh looks over at Jason and goes, that's a yes. And Jason just closes his eyes like, I don't want to be here for this conversation. And he had tried to leave, but Josh is like, no, you have to stay because she can't lie to me if you're here.
Yeah.
And then the eye roll when Brennan came in.
Mm-hmm.
Jason is no happier about this than Joss is.
Exactly. And I like how Brendan goes to Jason, get in touch with Devane and do it on the down low, do it discreet.
Yeah. So I've seen a lot of speculation about what people think Joss's assignment is, and they're like, "Ooh, it's Jason. Ooh, it's Sunny. Ooh, it's Drew."
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it's any of those things.
It might be Emma.
I think it's Emma. Exactly. Yeah. I think it's whatever Emma has going on, because he said it was something that she was uniquely suited for. So college stuff,
exactly.
In my opinion, right?
Yep. That makes total sense. And I was going to bring that up because, Emma being kicked out of a college to the point where there's an NDA, she can't talk to anybody about it. And if it comes out, she could be arrested. What happened? It was not a simple dorm party.
Right.
It had
exactly.
I mean, who knows? Maybe Emma is exactly, Jeannie. I said the same thing. Maybe Emma is agent too. And something that has to do with the WSB.
Mm-hmm. Although it would be really interesting if Emma didn't know, but that she was inadvertently working with the DVX, the WSB enemy that Anna had worked for. Like if maybe they were like using her, got her in, and she thinks that it's an animal rights thing.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah,
Yeah. No,
I
it's
think,
not.
yeah, I think there's a lot there. The WSB stuff is just going to get more and more built up. There's going to be
Oh
more
yeah.
and more. I would love Emma to be a WSB agent too, and her and Joss to be partners. I think it would be hysterical.
Right. Agreed.
So, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, considering they always had that feud over Spencer growing up.
Right. I mean, they really didn't because Joss didn't
Right.
care, and it was
Yeah.
really Spencer and Cam with Emma
Yep.
fighting over Emma or whatever. But now they're all Emma came back to town all snarky and full of vinegar for Joss. So
Have you noticed that anytime they bring back a character in that age group, they always come back with a splash where you're like, "Ooh, they're a baddie now," or
yeah,
there's some kind of a rule breaker now, and then after a couple weeks it softens up because they did the same thing with Cam.
with who?
With Cam when William Lipton first came on,
Yes.
you know, it was like he was getting into trouble somehow or whatever, and
Yeah.
yeah, so. However, I did like that court scene, when
Hmm.
when Emma's standing there and Tracy was freaking arguing the case instead of a lawyer. Like just
Tracy's
absolutely
lucky she didn't end up in jail for contempt or something herself.
yeah.
My God, that woman just doesn't stop. I love it, but
Oh yes. No, the way that she pointed everything out and said this was signed before, you
mhm,
know, before the arrest happened or whatever. It's like none of this matters and
yeah,
everything. The ADA is trying to say, oh well, she's a flight risk and this and that, and her record is
yeah,
long. And I was like, you know what? I've been through this before. Just give me community service, and I'm good. I'll plead guilty.
yes, yeah.
um, by the way, folks, if you want some Suds and Squared Circle Media merchandise, head on over to suds-media.com/merch. That'll take you to our threadless shop. Buy what you want. All of our great logos are there. You could buy mugs. You could buy shirts and any kind of merch you want. Suds-media.com/merch, and you could buy our stuff and help support the show as well. Support the network. All right. Moving on. I guess we have seen the end of Ezra, the congressperson or councilman.
Have
Um,
we?
I believe so. I believe it was just a short arc.
Oh,
Um, as far as from what I know,
okay.
do you think it could have been a longer run?
Oh, I don't know. I mean, I was kind of hoping to see him with Nina or something because Nina needs a man.
Okay.
And I used to think they were going to go back to Nina and Drew, but now I don't.
No.
So,
Do you think that Drew's in line for a whodunit murder mystery?
no. I could be wrong, but the Kai stuff kind of makes me think that that's like they're going to redeem him.
Hmm.
Because the Kai stuff, he's being good with the Kai stuff.
He is.
You know,
Yeah.
he gets nothing from that. He's just trying to help the kid.
Yeah.
You know,
I wonder if just deep down Drew is still a really good person. He's just making bad decisions at this point.
that's possible too. But it's just with them having Portia have his medical file out, just makes me
Yep.
think that they're going to do something with that. Just because they don't, that stuff is purposeful.
Yes, of course.
You know, a writer said, make sure Portia has, this prop on her desk and she's going to be looking at, so there's a reason for that.
Oh, there absolutely is. There has been a rumor out there, and I honestly don't like. It's been alluded to in the past, but the rumor is because we found out that Tamara Braun is no longer on Days of Our Lives.
Mm-hmm.
that Kim Nero is going to come back with the real Drew, and and say that Drew is really Shiloh.
I mean, anything's possible. I would love them to bring Kim back for Drew.
Yeah.
I think Tamara would be great with Cameron. But we'll see.
Yeah. It's a rumor.
Yeah.
Tamara Braun is available now.
Yes,
And I want to
I mean, she's been available for 6 months.
9 months. I
Yeah.
think she said her
Last
date
summer,
was
yeah.
like July or something.
Yeah.
By the way, I want to thank the 105 people currently watching. Thank you so much for tuning in. Go ahead and hit that like button, subscribe, get notified. Turn on the notifications bell, because anytime something goes live on these channels, whether it's soap operas or wrestling or anything, because I am going to be starting to try to get interviews with some local wrestlers or legends, and those will be coming up as well. You'll get notified about anything that comes up on these networks. So, let's get back into General Hospital. Also, folks, I want to point something out. Please, 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 for the love of God, do not trust anything you see on Facebook in terms of casting news or so-and-so is coming back. My mother saw something on Facebook in one of these General Hospital fan groups or whatever, saying that Erica Slezak was put under contract by GH and debuting a new character. If you even go to read the article, the poster is based in India or Bangladesh or something of that nature.
And if you look, usually when you look in the article, it says could, might, should.
Yeah.
I just don't just read the headline. If you must, read the article. But listen, anything from Celebrity Dirty Laundry, anything from Soap Dirt, anything from, all of those are just, they're crap. They're all clickbait crap.
Yeah. They are the dirt sheets of the soap world. They are the Dave Meltzers, the Wrestling Observers, the Sean Ross Sapp, all that kind of garbage of the soap world. Yeah. So the only ones that you can really trust is Soap Opera Digest, honestly.
And Petty Prattle.
And Petty Prattle, absolutely.
Soaps in Depth are usually good. Soap Hub does a lot of clickbait headlines, but they don't put up fake spoilers. Their headlines can be clickbaity, but they're not like as bad as the other ones are. But yeah, God. My biggest thing with the people with the fake spoilers is that then they get mad and act like they were lied to when it doesn't happen by the show. They act like the show lied to them. The show is just like, we never said this.
Right, exactly.
The only confirmed spoilers are the weekly breakdowns that get sent out by the press offices.
Yes. That's it. Yeah. So
Frank has stuff locked down so tightly. Frank actually, when their scripts used to have, the episode number, the filming date, and the projected air date on them, Frank took the air date off of everything. The crew doesn't have projected air dates for things. All they have is their filming date and the episode number, I guess. They don't know when anything is going to be airing because he's trying to cut down on spoilers. And they film things so out of order that they don't even really know what comes first, what's coming next. So
and a lot of the actors don't know about the other stories unless they actually watch the show. And
very few of them do. Pretty much more right end of list.
Yeah. I mean, you listen to Stephen Bradford's podcast, they'll tell you exactly that they don't watch the show. So they're trying to figure out storylines too. Bradford may watch it more.
Tries to keep up with it more, but Steve will be the first to tell you, he's like, I don't even know my stories. I don't even know my, he doesn't keep up with his history stuff. And the majority of the things that he remembers are action scenes.
Yeah, exactly.
Those are the things that stick in his head, is the action stuff. That's it. That's all he cares about.
Yep. All right. So we're going to move on. Might as well talk about it now. Last Tuesday was the 62nd anniversary episode of General Hospital.
Yes.
62 years, April 1st. And
1963.
yeah, 1963. And amazingly, there's, obviously it's still going strong. ABC has committed to General Hospital and said they're very happy with it. So it's not going anywhere anytime soon. Let's hope they decide to bring back more soaps. But
love it.
But it was a standalone episode. It was not. It was in the same time frame, but it had nothing to do with the storylines. Because a lot of people, hey JJ, how are you today? A lot of people have gone ahead and wondered why Jason wasn't involved in the episode, why Elizabeth wasn't involved. Well, Elizabeth is nursing a broken leg in a freaking hospital room.
Yeah, but it wasn't that. It was because it was a standalone episode. And see, the thing is that when they originally wrote it, Leslie Charleston was alive.
Right.
And they had hoped for her to come on for it.
Yeah.
And then when she passed away, they had to change things up on it. And if she had been, I think that if she had been able to be there, it would have focused more on the hospital stuff.
Yep.
But instead, they kind of made it a Sunny tribute more than anything else. I mean, every woman, had to tongue bait. I mean, seriously, it was, them all lining up to tell Sunny how great he was. Laura got a turn, Alexis got a turn, Carly got a turn, Anna even had to kiss him on the cheek from Robin, and I think that that's why Elizabeth wasn't on it, and they didn't need Jason to kiss Sunny's butt when they had all the women doing it. And I still think it's because we're seeing the swan song of Sonny Corinthos and Maurice Bernard.
Do you think, because there were a couple things that were quite interesting that came out of that. First off, Lucy Coe, her and Sidwell throughout the whole show talking about the nurses' ball, and Sidwell saying, "I'll pay for the whole thing, or I'll give you my money, but the caveat is it's only me. I'm the only the one." Okay, fine, whatever. She's happy. And then at the end of the episode, as everybody's regaling in the Dr. Monica Quartermain, cardiac wing, and everything, Lucy comes out. Wait! We're gonna have the nurses' ball, and all brought to you by Jen Sidwell. And people were upset, but you know what? That is so Lucy.
So Lucy. It is one of the Luciest things. It couldn't possibly be more Lucy. And I've also seen people complaining about Sidwell underwriting the whole thing. This isn't the first time a bad guy. Jerry underwrote the nurses' ball back in the day around the time of the Metro Court hostage crisis. He did the same thing. Shut up. Just stop bitching about everything, please. I beg you. Not you, them.
No, I know. Do you think that Sidwell is going to be do you think Sidwell's going to kind of take the torch from Sonny and be that new mobster with a heart of gold?
Well, I don't think he's necessarily a mobster because he's more on the international scale. I think he's going to be a shades of gray bad guy who also has maybe good. I mean, his whole thing. I'm intrigued with him telling Natalia. The argument he had with Natalia about how she doesn't get to say anything after blowing their family up, and after her days of controlling him are over. And I'm just like, oh, this is intriguing. And what is the story here?
And that story happens to be our What the Fudge moment of the week, brought to you by What the Fudge Homemade Confections. If you are in the New Haven, Connecticut area, go to facebook.com/whatthefudgeCT to put in your order. But that is the premise of the What the Fudge moment of the week, is the fact that Sidwell and Natalia not only were married, we knew about that, but the fact that Marco is their son. And I got this from my mother. My mother is the proprietor of What the Fudge CT, and she texted me or called me up and said, that's the What the Fudge moment of the week, is that Marco is Natalia and Sidwell's son. I'm like, we knew that a couple weeks ago, but that's okay. The general public didn't.
Yes, the viewers found out on screen. Yeah, and I think that Marco is estranged from Natalia.
I think so too. I think Marco is. Obviously, Marco works for Sidwell as an attorney. I'm almost wondering Marco was his attorney in the divorce.
I don't know about that, but yeah, because he's definitely his attorney, because he told, he told Diane all the companies that come with him, all the clients that come with him, and the number one was the JS Associates, Jen Sidwell.
Yeah, exactly.
Or Incorporated or whatever the hell it was. So, yeah.
Yeah, I'm really assuming that, he's estranged from his mother. I'm kind of wondering if Blaze is their child together, or maybe it could be from Natalia with a previous partner.
That could have been how she blew up their family.
Or whatever.
Could have been how she blew up their family. She could have had an affair.
Yeah, that's true. And think about the karma, the fact that somebody like Natalia, who doesn't agree with a homosexual lifestyle, has 2 gay kids.
Yes.
Now, is Marco Eloy, or is that
another brother? Marco's Eloy. They changed his name.
Okay.
They changed his name, which the person who dropped the spoiler about him coming said that they might.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, in that spoiler they said Eloy, if that is still his name.
Gotcha.
So, yeah.
So theoretically speaking, he went from being in the music industry to becoming a lawyer.
Well, he was in the music industry, but remember, Blaze said that because of her mother's smothering, he left the music industry.
Well, right, yeah.
So, yeah.
That's definitely something to think about. But I'm glad that, honestly, I like the character. I like how they're fleshing out that dynamic now between Natalia Sidwell and Marco. And oh my God, I don't think I've ever seen Sidwell so animated as he was with Natalia.
Yeah. Yeah, he's definitely still harboring some sort of feelings there.
Yeah. So,
and
it's funny to me. And it's funny to me how Natalia was the, for lack of a better term, dominator, the aggressor in the relationship, because we see her like that with Blaze too, where she's the momager. She's the one that's, calling all the shots.
Yeah.
So, I'm assuming that she has a very controlling personality, which kind of puts her in the same vein as Sonny. Which it looks like, I think we mentioned it last week. It looks like they backed off on that relationship a little bit.
Yeah, it seems so. Although they do have scenes this week, and Sonny's asking her what her relationship to Sidwell is. So, yeah.
So we'll see. Because it seems to have cooled off a little bit, since the whole, they were hot and heavy in the beginning. And, ever since they got back from LA, it seems like they've been on different paths, so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that Sonny's going to end up having the surgery in California, or do you think he's actually going to go under the knife in Port Charles?
I think he's going to push it and have to go under the knife in Port Charles.
Okay, that's
Yeah.
what I
Laura
thought.
Wright said something happens with Sonny in a few weeks, and Carly has to step up and be supportive. So I'm
Yeah,
assuming that's what it is. So,
which makes sense.
yeah.
They're not going to have him go all the way out to LA for surgery when they have a great cardiac surgeon of Dr.
I
Gannon.
know they have that brand new wing.
Yeah, amazing. Sonny is the person that donated the money for it, and he's going to be the first patient.
I know, right? And they're for everybody asking, we have confirmation that they're going to be addressing Monica's death later on this summer.
Yeah,
So that will be, they don't want it overshadowed by everything else they have going on. They want it to be able to be just about her, like they did with Bobby's death for Jackie
yeah,
Tina.
of course. And
So
and no, and Steve puts this out there. Are they ever going to deal with us not seeing TJ?
honestly, it'll probably be a throwaway line. Jordan will say something about, "Oh, I talked to TJ. He's all settled in Seattle." You know what I mean? It'll be something like that.
Yeah,
Would
it's
be my
gonna
bet.
be.
He didn't want to live here he didn't want to be here anymore. He couldn't,
Yeah,
he
and
needed a
it's
fresh start after everything that
and
happened.
it is. It's kind of abrupt the way that TJ left. Obviously, they took Taj Bello off contract. He's doing other stuff
Mhm.
right now. Which is great for his career, but they never actually adjusted it. Addressed
Right.
it.
Yeah.
And
It's kind of
they never even had a scene where TJ tells Molly, "Okay, well, we need to get some type of dissolution of our civil partnership or
yeah.
whatever."
Or
Theoretically,
maybe Molly will get tape papers in the mail or something.
it could be,
Then that's
or
how they'll
or
do it.
or TJ went down to Puerto Rico, or the Dominican Republic, where you do it without the other
Yeah.
party. Um, but yeah, I I don't foresee them, really talking too much about TJ,
No.
because even TJ would have been at the hospital or in the hospital scenes or any of that.
Right. Yeah,
Just
with especially like with the Rick stuff and yeah.
oh yeah, of course.
Yeah.
However, you want to know who's been getting closer to Rick or getting through to Rick? Cody.
Mhm.
I am I you know I like Josh Kelly,
I do
but I
too.
actually see him being um a little bit more valuable to the set, to the scene now, to the cast.
Mhm.
In being that he's helping Molly get closer to her dad,
Mhm.
kind of help bring peace between Rick and Alexis and to stop the snickering back and forth and
Mhm.
whatever. Um, he's had great chemistry with Lulu.
Yes.
Like, just
He has great chemistry with Lulu and with
and
Molly.
Molly.
I'm kind of
Yeah,
torn. I'm
I
torn.
know.
And I'm still not putting a pin in, you know, I wouldn't mind him, giving Tracy a ride. Just saying.
um, but yeah, just the way that they ended up um going ahead and um, being at Charlie's, and I like how Molly asked Cody, "Are you sure you should be here?" Because the last time you were here, you punched Lucky, punched the bartender or whatever, um, and then I like how Matt comes in and they're sharing a beer, and Matt's like, "Oh, well, do you want to join us?" And that's when Molly gets a call. So all of them go to the
Mhm.
hospital to check on Rick.
Yeah.
I like that. Like I really like that, because Cody could have said, "Okay, well, you could go or whatever," but obviously he
Yeah.
cares
Oh,
somewhat
absolutely.
about
Mhm.
Molly.
Yep. Yeah. I like their dynamic. I like his dynamic with Lulu.
Yes,
I'm interested to see what they do with that group, shaking
we
things up a
actually
little bit.
we actually had a week without Dante, without Brooklyn, without
Mhm.
Chase. We saw Brooklyn a little bit with the deception scenes.
Yeah.
You know, I like how Tracy, when they're talking about deception, they're talking about Sidwell being involved with it, and Tracy's like, I am not voting on that because I want to be able to say I told you so.
You gotta love her commitment to the petty.
Oh yes. Oh,
You know,
absolutely.
you gotta love that. Yeah.
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 No, it's fantastic the way that she's the snarky one. I mean, she's mellowed out and she's become that more of a regal, matriarchal character, but
very much the matriarch.
At the same time, she still could put in those barbs. And then Maxie with the frog in her throat for a little while. She had
poor Kirsten Storms had a cold. But she was a trooper.
She was. She was. So they end up taking Sidwell up on his offer to get them the, whatever they need for their makeup products. And I don't know. I like how Sidwell's getting so ingrained in the city of Port Charles.
He really is, and I think it's interesting to me how they kind of wrote off his crimes because he was, so much of it was while he was in Africa in a country without, there's still the whole, trying to blow Sasha up, but she's
There's
getting
no
her pound of flesh another way. So it's I think I could see him being around for a while, especially with his wife being the new ADA. His real life.
She's a spitfire. She's going after everybody. And I like how she said the line today. Now that, DA Scorpio is out of town,
yes,
I don't have to worry about him holding me back.
Oh, so absolutely. And here's the thing. I love Anna, but it's not like ADA Turner's wrong.
Right. Exactly. So will this be another ADA that Sunny ends up sleeping with?
I don't know. I mean, I know that, definitely that setup is there. I don't know that Sunny will be around long enough for that.
Makes sense.
I think, I was originally thinking like November. They'd write him out in November. I think it could be sooner. I think it could be much sooner than that.
It could be.
I mean, we'll see. But yeah, I don't think we'll see Sunny get involved with anybody because I think how they're going to write him off is with Brenda.
Yeah.
So they don't want him too deeply involved with somebody else.
Which is why they kind of cooled off him and Natalia.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Which makes sense.
But I also, I don't think that Sidwell's taking over the mob per se. I think he'll be the resident good guy, bad guy, because I think it's going back to like the WSB type stuff. But Sidwell fits in there as an adversary kind of to them.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. I agree. All right. So we talked about the scenes today with Jason and Carly and Joss and Jack. But on Friday, Jason and Carly had some of the greatest scenes I could say that we've seen in quite a while with those two.
Tell me that man is not in love with her.
Oh, absolutely.
Your life doesn't matter as much to Jack as it does to me, and it never could.
Yeah.
That man is in love with her.
Yes, he really is. And, it's killing him that she's with Jack and, it's, and I just, I like, I love the Jason character, but seeing Jason vulnerable is like new. Because.
Yeah. Although I could give you, a million clips of it, of him being vulnerable with Carly throughout the years. But yes, he is. Well, I mean, since he came back in 2017, and Steve has talked about this, that Jason is much more open with his emotions.
Yeah.
But oh yeah, the looks, the cracks in his voice, the
Mm-hmm.
whole I mean, just that is his person, that is his woman, and if there is one thing Jason Morgan is, it's an emotional coward. Traditionally he doesn't fight for anybody, but and here's the thing. Jason's never wrong about who the bad guy is.
No, never.
Carly has no reason to think that Jack is a bad guy. And Jason doesn't actually have any reason to think Jack is a bad guy either. He just doesn't like it.
Right.
So, I mean, he has what Valentin said, but can Valentin be trusted? And yet, so it's just, he's so jealous. He's so, and I mean, their stuff in the hospital was intense. That moment when he told her, what happens to you will happen to him. And, but the stuff, yes. And then their whole, she, at the end of their thing, when, she said, what if I'm wrong about him?
Yeah.
And Jason said, then we'll face whatever danger comes our way together.
Yep.
And that's his danger too. And it was just chef's
And
kiss, no notes.
Anya asks, why don't he just take her? Why not like Carly not see it? That he love her. She seems nervous. I just think the timing just isn't right. It's just like,
well, Laura Wright said something when Steve came back about the Jason and Carly thing. And she said that Sonny is still a big thing, and she thinks that Jason feels like he can't trust that she won't betray him with Sonny again.
yeah.
And that's something they have to deal with. And she brought it up. She broached it with him.
Yep.
The whole Sonny thing.
Yep.
So I think that, they have to resolve those issues. And I think they will.
Yeah, I think so too.
I think we're just getting great soapy.
Oh yeah, no, it's great. I mean, you also don't want a quote unquote end game couple to get together too early because then they get boring.
I know. It's so funny because over on the cesspool that is Daytime Dish, people keep saying, because everybody knows that I'm, a Charlie shipper, and that I believe that it's, they're coming and they'll be endgame. They're like, there's nothing keeping them apart. They could just be together. This is a soap opera. Knock it off. Stop acting new, people. Stop it. This isn't a 2-hour Hallmark Christmas movie.
Yeah.
That's not how it works. Nothing's keeping anybody apart.
Yeah. People, I mean,
People
obviously the fans that watch us weekly know it's a soap opera, and they could tell, they know there has to be drama for it. And while they may not, have the same viewpoints as us, that's great. Enjoy what you want, and have your opinions and stuff. But at the end of the day, it's a soap opera. It's going to have drama. It's going to have angst. It's going to have whatever the case is, because I mean, I even got blocked the other day simply by laughing at a reply that Laura Wright,
because she's so used to people giving her shit. She's so used to, I feel so bad for you, but she's so used to people giving her shit that's probably, she probably just thought that's what it is.
I mean, don't get me wrong. It's just, first of all, if you're going to post something stupid and the actor replies to you and you get burned by the actor and somebody, like, I don't care either way. It's no sweat off my back, because especially with the Twitter blocking policies, you can still see everything. Which is freaking stupid, but whatever. It is what it is. But yeah. I just find it how one, people either take the soap too seriously, or two, they don't realize it's a soap opera and they want everybody to love and be peachy
Yeah.
keen and happy and this and that. Brooklyn and Chase were in love for a long time, and they had such a great relationship,
like,
but now there's something between them.
It was like 3 years from the time she smashed him in the head with the bottle when they
Yeah,
started them to the time they had their first kiss.
yeah,
People
exactly.
actually knew. I mean, this
Yeah,
is soaps. They, and if they put them together too soon, then what?
yeah,
And yes, I want them together. It's been 29 years. I feel like that old woman in the Titanic. But as long as I keep seeing stuff like we've been getting, I'm
yeah.
good. Take
Oh
me on
yeah,
the ride.
they're definitely in each other's orbit.
And it's
Um,
really funny too, because I don't know if anybody noticed that starting last Friday, Chris McKenna has been pimping Jack and Hannah.
yeah, I know he has.
Anya, you're so dirty. I love it. But yeah, he's been really, so he knows the writing on the wall. And Charles Mesher put up an interesting thing
Yeah,
today too,
yep.
which quite honestly, it just lends credibility to my little Jarly dropper, my Jarly
Mhm.
spoiler person over on Daytime Confidential.
Yeah,
But oh yeah, it's really,
and
Jason can still be stone cold, Steve. He's just not always stone cold anymore. And he was never stone cold. He always had a lot of emotion. It just used to come out as anger more than anything else. That's why he was Anger Boy.
yeah, yeah,
Taggart
and
used to call him Anger Boy.
um, it's funny because even Steve on his podcast said that he never understood why people were calling him Stone Cold, because
Yeah.
when he hears Stone Cold, he thinks about Stone Cold Steve Austin instead
Yes.
of Stone Cold Jason Morgan.
Right. And Jason, I mean, he can give the stone cold stare. I mean, he did it to Anna a
Yeah,
couple weeks ago, but Jason is all kinds of emotion. It just usually used to come out as anger, or he tries to hold it in tight, but he's bubbling over with emotion.
ooh, I wonder if I could do an insert Morgan 316. Hmm,
He'd
that might work.
probably love that
Hmm. Okay, yeah, definitely
because
have to
he's
put that to
religious. So,
Yeah, that's true.
yeah.
And you could probably keep the I just whooped your ass, but whatever. Um, all right, sorry. Brain thought, brain blast.
It's all right. We get it.
Um, all right, let's see. What else? Oh, how did you like today, Lucy going up to Kai and Trina about the nurse's ball?
I thought it was funny. Um, because and it was really sweet too.
Yeah,
That Kai, he is so the opposite of Spencer
yeah,
and so all in for that girl.
yep,
And we know that Trina performs at the nurses' ball because Tabby did a behind the scenes
yeah,
video and she was in the recording studio.
yep. So
Oh, Steve, yeah. I mean, Jason didn't hug Spinelli, but he used to hug Michael all the time.
yeah, and when you
You
become a
know,
father, things change.
yeah, I mean, he used to hug Michael, but Spinelli is not his
Spinelli.
kid. Spinelli was always like that weird younger brother kind of thing.
Yeah. And people do evolve. I mean, you got to remember, Jason was being held, by the FBI and being made to work for the FBI for, a year or two, whatever it
Almost
was.
3,
So,
yeah.
almost 3 years, and people do change. I mean, we've seen the evolution of the Jason Morgan character where he is a lot softer. He wants to get out of the mob. He wants to be a father for Danny. So, it does, it does change somebody. And not to mention when it's your kid, I mean, fathers and sons generally have different relationships than like a a father and a daughter or a mother and a son, it's
Mhm.
generally a little different. But
Yeah,
Jason is seeing that Danny doesn't have his mother anymore.
right.
So he's trying to be the stable father for him. So,
Right.
I mean, it does, if you took the entire arc, like I haven't been watching all that long for this Jason history, but from the time Jason Quartermain first appeared on the show through now, you could see such the ebbs and the flows of the character. Be
Mhm.
something to study. Um,
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Speaking of which, do you have your this week in General Hospital history?
I do.
Okay, so we're going to go.
We're sending you back to the future.
We are going to put you over to the Professor Angela and today in General Hospital history.
All right, so I'm starting with April 3rd because we had our Wednesday show last week and I kind of went up to
Yep.
Wednesday. So I'm starting with April 3rd in 2013. Helena and Laura had their big standoff, and Helena was trying to get Laura to shoot Ethan or shoot Luke. She had to choose one, and Luke was telling her to shoot him, and then Luke got the gun and shot Helena.
Yep.
Goodbye, old lady. It was such a great scene. All right. April 4th, speaking of Taggart, 1997. Taggart and Sonny had a real big showdown where Taggart revealed that his mentor and big hero was Deke, who had been Sonny's abusive stepfather.
Oh, wow.
And Taggart knew a different Deke because to Taggart, Deke acted like he was so in love with Sonny's mother, Adela, and loved Sonny and all this other. And, Sonny took her away from him, and he was the wronged party. And so that's why Taggart came to town hating Sonny, not realizing that, Deke was abusive.
Was Deke a cop?
Deke was a cop, yes.
Okay.
Which is why he got away with abusing Adela, because,
Yeah.
yeah. All right. April 5th, 1996. One of my favorite days in General Hospital history. Sarah Joy Brown premiered as the Caroline Lee Benson, Quartermain, Corinthos, Alcazar, Jax, Morgan, Spencer. She didn't have all those names back then, but she came to town looking for her birth mother. And when Bobby did not recognize her, she went a little crazy. But yes, Sarah Brown, she told the story about when she auditioned for the role. Another person that was up for the role was Tara Reid.
Wow.
Who was dating and living with Steve Burton at the time.
Tara Reid from American Pie. Wow.
Steve Burton lived with her for 2 years.
Holy cow. I didn't know that.
Yep. And she auditioned for the role of Carly. And the audition was with Steve. And Sarah got it.
Yep.
So, all right. Then we have April 6th. I think this is 2013 or 14. I didn't write down the year. I'm sorry. Sam and Jason, as played by Billy Miller, made love for the first time since he came back and they realized who he was.
I think that was 14.
Oh, okay, 14. That's, yeah. And then another one of my favorite days, this will be ironic, in General Hospital history, April 7th, 2008. Jason and Liz had the shortest engagement in soap opera history. He proposed. She said yes. They kissed. The phone rang. It was Carly. Michael's been shot in the head.
Oh, jeez.
And that, as the people say, was that.
Wow.
Yep. Yeah. She didn't even get a ring, anything. It was, oh, God, so funny. As a
Wow.
Jason and Liz hater, of course, I think it's hysterical.
Yeah.
But
So
yeah, so
that was today in General Hospital history.
yes.
Thank you, Professor Angela.
Anytime.
Let's see. I believe we've kind of gone over Curtis and Drew.
Mhm.
So Jordan runs into Lucy, and
Mhm.
Lucy says that Jordan has been volunteered to help set up the nurses' ball.
Yes. Which was hysterical because it's just Laura not wanting to deal with Lucy.
Yeah, of course.
It's absolutely all it was, is Laura's just like, Jordan's your liaison with the mayor's office.
So Jordan is now going out to get Curtis and Drew to perform, and now they're going to one-up each other. And Drew said that he's going to perform at the nurses' ball.
Yeah.
You know, it kind of makes me miss the days of Magic Milo.
Well, I mean, we got Magic Milo last time.
You're right, we did.
We got Magic Milo last nurses' ball, so maybe. We'll see.
True.
The only ones we know for sure are Tabiana and the kids. The kids were shown.
Yep.
Georgie, Rocco, Donna, James, I think Danny, but they were all shown rehearsing.
Okay.
One of them posted a picture of them. So
it's going to be fun. The nurses' ball is always a great time, you know.
I always love it.
And they really do raise money for, you know, age research.
Yes. And at the end of this week, the studio is then dark until the end of the month. They have 2 weeks off.
Yeah.
So you'll notice that they're all out and about. Don't make it think, they're all on vacation. Don't think that any of them left the show. Nobody's filming. The studio's dark.
Yeah.
So
yeah, exactly.
I get those questions all the time. Every time the studio is dark, I get messages in my inbox. I saw that so-and-so is in Europe. Did he leave the show? Nope, it's dark weeks. I'm still going to get them, but it's
of course.
Right.
Of course.
That's why I'm here.
Going back to Tuesday on the. I know, folks, we're jumping all around here, but it's all right. We're going to get this stuff out.
I'm real tired.
I'm going back to Tuesday and the anniversary episode. Maxie giving out the deception bags to everybody, all the nurses and stuff.
The nurses was sweet.
It was good to see Amy and Deanna and, just some of the people that you don't ever get to see. And I love how Amy's just, saying how free is always the best. And
yes.
This is such a great value, all for free. And then Stella and Felicia come in and say, "Do those go for hospital patient advocates too?"
Like Felicia needs that hookup, right?
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
And then Maxie's comment saying, the nurses at General Hospital have always taken care of me, and now it's my kids and James, who will surely be here again and many times in the future.
Which is so funny. And I mean, honestly, Maxie's, heart transplant was one of the most emotional storylines at GH. And I love that they're doing more around the hospital.
I am too.
I mean, I know that, it doesn't really include my fave, but that's okay. I love that they're doing more around the hospital. I love that they're making it more about the hospital and law enforcement and the WSB. It really is bringing it back to the golden years of General Hospital, I think.
Yes, I agree.
So.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And I agree. I think it's great. Although people on Twitter have pointed out there was a flub with the with some of the historical facts of General Hospital this past week when Lucy went up to Alexis to say that she wanted her to perform in the nurses' ball, and Alexis point blank said, "I never have, I never will," but that was a lie.
Yes, she did do it once. Yes.
She performed with Ned, I believe.
Yeah, I think so. We don't know if Yuri's still dating Terry. I think so. But the last time we saw Yuri, he was encouraging Tracy's act of civil disobedience.
Yeah. Just
go limp.
Let your body go limp. Go limp. Holy cow. The abs on Tracy, though. The core strength on Tracy to stay sitting cross-legged while being held by both arms. I give her a lot of props for that.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right.
Jane Elliott is the bomb. That's it. That's all.
Oh, absolutely she is. All right, folks. You're in for a treat if you're watching live, because we're going to hop on a plane and we're going to take a quick trip down to the Delaware, Baltimore area and get into Fairmont Crest, and just talk a little bit about Beyond the Gates, because we're not going to do Gate Crashers tonight. But I did have a little bit of interaction with one Maurice Johnson, who's currently airing as Dr. Ted Richardson, and I'm telling you, the episode today, I like Dark Ted.
Yeah,
I am enjoying Dark Ted.
Yeah.
So I'm just I did, for those of you who don't know, they have recast Maurice Johnson with somebody else who'll be starting soon on the show. I did reach out to Maurice Johnson to possibly get him on the show as an interview. We'll wait to see if he responds, but we've got to have a little bit of back and forth with him liking some posts and stuff.
Here's hoping.
So we'll see. So stay tuned for that. But I'm telling you, I'm really liking the show, and I know there's some people who aren't. It's not everybody's cup of tea, but I really do think that the introduction of Beyond the Gates has really upped the ante for all the soaps. In terms of the writing and and the storytelling in general. It looks like Gregory Martin's time as writer has ended, at least for now. He's heading back to LA, presumably to work on more of the Bay. But he did say, that he did allude to the fact that his time was done in Atlanta. How have you liked this week? How do you like the idea that Naomi is going after her father and the whole situation between those two?
Think it's great. I think she should have tried to get sanctions on him for
I agree
with her lawyer or with her clients, because that was screwed up.
It really was. I agree.
So yeah.
But I like how she I like how she pointed out that she was misinformed of the time, or the time was changed, or whatever the case was about that meeting. And I like how she really read through the contract instead of allowing the girls to just hear, "Oh, you guys are getting, $1 million a piece," or whatever it was. And she's like, "Yeah, but there's no guarantee that you're going to keep the job. He could come bring you on for one day and then fire you the next."
Right.
So
And there'll be nothing you can do about it. Yeah.
exactly. Yep.
And she's like, and you see how tricky he is. So, yeah, that was slimy. And then him going over and he wanted, his whole reason for being there with Danny was to try to get her to intervene.
Of course.
With their daughter.
Of course. And Danny is just stuck on him. She's like a lovesick puppy dog. And it's like, but you gotta remember, she was she was independent. She was a model. That she meets Bill, who's a lawyer, and then she gives everything up for him. So she doesn't know how to survive without somebody.
Yes, and I get that, and I wish she wasn't so pathetic over him. Because I know she's going to end up sleeping with him again. That's the thing. But I know she's going to end up sleeping with him, and that makes me very, very sad for her because I love Danny. But hopefully, she will wash that man right out of her hair at some point.
I like how Chelsea was finally stood up and said, "I don't want to model anymore. I want to go into the designing the purses, whatever." And and I like how she basically told Danny, she's like, after seeing everything you're going through, I didn't want to give you another hurt because you love managing my career and whatever.
Yes. And then he's like, well, I can just manage this. She's like, no, you can't.
Exactly. But I did like the conversations that they had. And I like how one thing I really like is I like seeing the younger characters follow their dreams.
Yes.
And I like, whether it's Chelsea, trying to go into fashion, Naomi being a lawyer and really being a high-powered lawyer and not backing down from somebody as powerful as Bill. I like Eva. I'm enjoying Eva.
I love Eva. Well,
I mean, conflict.
And she doesn't know that Ted thinks that she was aborted.
Right. That was.
I mean, she doesn't know that.
Yeah, that was.
She thinks that Ted abandoned her.
But I don't think Ted knew that she was aborted either.
No, she told him that she had an abortion.
See, after today's episode, I thought Leslie told him, "Oh, like your lawyer who dragged me to the abortion clinic." I didn't know that Ted was under the assumption that she had the abortion.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, they had talked about that. So Ted doesn't know that they have a kid out there, or that he has a kid out there.
Yeah.
And Eva doesn't know that he doesn't know that. Eva thinks that he abandoned her, knowing that she was his child.
But
I'm not sure how Mom survives this, but we'll see.
I'm not sure either. But you know what? Leslie took a big step into soap villainy today by putting a syringe in the IV bag of the girl in the hospital.
Poor girl.
Wonder what was in that syringe. That's what
I was going to say. Did she borrow Cyrus's digitalis?
Yeah, exactly. Hey, who knows?
Yeah.
Cyrus,
and that's sad because there was no reason for it because Nicole wants to keep them both.
Now she does, but they didn't know that originally.
Oh, I know.
How about? Okay, so I got to ask you. Kim and I were talking about it last week. How do you feel about Derek? To me,
who?
Derek.
Sorry,
Derek
I was falling asleep
is
there.
literally the human iteration of the meh emoji.
That's what I was just doing with my fake falling asleep. He's so boring.
Yeah.
So boring. I'm like that meme of the little stick figure poking the stick. Do something.
Yeah.
Do something. Yeah. He's so boring. I need more.
Yeah. And I'm sorry, but I do think that Andre and Ashley are going to hook up.
Of course they're going to hook up.
The writing's on
And
it.
with
The
as
writing's
much
on
of a
it.
wet blanket as he is, they may hook up right on top of Derek.
Yeah, exactly. But okay. But then Derek inviting Andre over for dinner, feeling as insecure as he is,
Well, he wants to, get a handle on this. Keep it,
yeah.
get a read on it. Yeah.
Oh,
And the thing is that, Ashley knows that she's attracted to Andre, but she really loves Derek and wants her relationship with Derek.
yeah, exactly.
But I kind of have a feeling that Derek's gonna, I'm not gonna say push her towards Andre, because if she cheats on her boyfriend, that is her own fault. But kind of, act the ass and push her away.
Do you think Andre is happy with his setup with Danny?
I think he enjoys the booty call, but he doesn't want a long-term thing with Danny.
Okay, that could be, yeah.
Although I could also see Danny, if he broke it off to be with Ashley,
Yep.
Danny wouldn't take that well.
No. And we've seen her not take stuff well.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
I don't think it'd be quite like this, but she's not gonna, take kindly to being dumped for another woman, no matter who it is,
again,
even though they're not serious.
right.
So,
but I like how Andre kind of rushed out of dinner to go, to go get laid.
well, I think Andre probably wanted out of there anyway, because who the
Of
hell
course.
wants to see the, chick that you want to be with?
Quiet Star, I at the beginning I really liked Derek and Ashley. I'm like, you know what? They're the sweet soapy couple that they have to be nice and everything. And nothing against the relationship, but Derek just isn't doing it for me. Like, there's a lot of and of course you have to have that one couple that comes in as, happy and in love, and just from the very first episode, I will never have anything like you, or never want to be with anybody but you. That's just blatant foreshadowing right there that something is going to happen and one of them's going to cheat.
Yeah. Exactly.
Like, I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I almost find Derek to be like comic relief at times, like going to a burning building to save a cat.
Yeah.
But I do like how they kind of play it out on screen, where Andre, while they're doing the documentary, and Andre's kind of with Derek on the seat, and Derek's just freezing, like he doesn't know how, he has no charisma at all. And so they have to bring Ashley back in, and they're talking. He's asking questions about Ashley and how Derek feels about having him as a nurse and as a partner, and just how much that was so uncomfortable to watch.
I'm trying to think about who else they could put Derek with. Really, only one name is coming to mind, and it would just be a fling. Vanessa. I mean, honestly.
I don't know. I really think that Derek needs Danny. If you put Ashley with Andre, put Derek with Danny.
Danny would chew that boy up and spit him out. That boy is not ready for Danny.
But I kind of like where they're going, because with the stories that they were talking about today.
Mm-hmm.
How
I just want to know the damn secret. I just want to know Martin's damn secret.
I do too. I don't, they're alluding to the secret. He's having flashbacks. He's nightmares.
I know.
But he's also not being truthful with Smitty.
That's true. He's absolutely not being truthful with Smitty.
You would think that he could say something to the effect of, yeah, I'm having nightmares about what happened in the past or whatever. Mm-hmm. I think that he's been taught, as not only a politician, but a black gay politician, that any type of impropriety, no matter what, could derail his entire political career. Obviously, Vernon is trying to put that into his head when it comes to not running for president.
I know. He's like, you cannot stand that scrutiny.
Right. But it's like with his husband, it's almost like you got to be a little honest.
Right.
Like, don't get me wrong.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just like, what could this possibly be that they covered up so well?
Yeah. I mean, are we thinking he killed somebody?
I don't know, because, I mean, Bill helped them with whatever it was.
Yeah.
Which would lead me to believe that there's some sort of legal trail.
Yep.
But if he was a minor, it would be sealed. But I don't know. I mean, it's something.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Like, it's really got me wondering what that is. I'm all for secrets, you know, and the more they allude to it, the more they keep it a secret, the more I want to know what the hell it is.
And that's my thing too. I'm like, they're really going to have to start giving us more hints about it. I mean, I know that soap things can drag on for a long time, but they're new.
Yeah.
I'm not sure they have the audience's attention enough to
drag
out something that big. I mean, they can, show us and, still have the fallout on screen happen, as it happens. But, oh, God. Yeah, I need to know what that is. I'm sure it'll come out. Oh, goodness. Sorry. So sorry, guys. I'm sure it'll come out in May sweeps.
Oh, yeah.
Because they really seem to be ramping it up.
Yeah. And I like how Vernon was kind of writing that speech today about bullying, and his grandkids are going through the same problem. Apparently, the bullies, pantsed Tyrell today, and he was in his checkerboard.
So sad.
Yeah, it was really sad.
Kids are assholes.
They really are, completely.
And they're not more assholes than they ever were. The problem is, when we were kids, we'd go home at the end of the day, and that's it. What was your bully going to call the landline and ask your mom if they could talk to you? Come on. At the end of the day, you went home and that was it. Today, kids have 24-hour access to each other.
They do. From all from all the social media, from texting,
cell phones, and all of it. Yeah. They don't get a respite from it. It's not the kids are bigger assholes. They've always been the same asshole. They're just have more access.
Yeah. No, you're exactly right. And it's almost like obviously it's a lot worse today because we do see, so much, suicide among teens and children because of this. It's like, it's toxic. I'm sorry. And I can go on a soapbox about it. But I like how they're addressing it, with Vernon, who's a respected member of the community and doing a speech, whatever. And I like how the conversation between Anita and Vernon today, where Anita says, "I could listen to your speeches all day," and he's like, "Not Congress."
I know. He's like, my fellow congressman didn't feel the same.
So what do we see? What are we seeing now that Bill is having numbness in his hands?
I don't know.
I think it's definitely going to be some kind of carpal tunnel, but people live with carpal tunnel all the time. But I mean, if you're not used to it.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it could be something more serious than that. It could be something heart or nerve related. I think they're going to do something more serious with him. But it's interesting too. So he's not going to want to tell Haley.
Yep.
And she's going to think he's having an affair.
Yep.
Which may lead her to having her own.
Yep. I mean, hell,
thinking that he is.
I mean, she was getting cozy with Derek and Jacob this week.
Yeah. Mhm.
So I, it's funny. You almost feel bad for her because of how she's being shunned, even though, yes, she did the wrong. She's in the wrong, but you do kind of feel bad for
Yeah,
her.
I mean, I do feel bad for her, and then it's my thing. I mean, I really do feel bad for her, but then sometimes I just want to throat punch her, like when she said to, was it Chelsea or something? What about the pain Danny's
Yeah,
inflicted on me? And I'm just like, no, no,
you deserve that.
no, 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 nope.
No, no,
It's
you're absolutely right.
just not something you get to say. It's
Yeah,
just not.
exactly.
And she sat for that dragging.
Yeah.
She was
Yep.
told it was coming, basically,
Oh
pretty
yeah,
much.
absolutely.
So,
All right. So moving on to another story, I have to ask,
mhm,
what is going on with the police department? Are we already seeing a dirty police?
yes.
I mean, obviously we see that Marcel is dirty. He's on the take.
Mhm,
But now it looks like the chief it's going right up to the chief. He's kind of turning a blind eye to it because the way
right.
that, he tells Jacob that, oh, uh, uh, Joey is a CI. He's an informant.
Right.
Um,
Well, I
it's
mean,
just,
it's that whole blue wall thing,
yeah,
you know. That's
it's I like how he told Marcel, my son is too wholesome to
yeah,
partake in dirty dirty
yeah,
politics or whatever it was.
yeah.
Um, but yeah, with Joey, going on and um,
Already starting to drop the hammer on
yeah, on Randy,
Randy.
Doug, not
Yeah.
Randy, Doug, Doug.
Doug, yeah.
Randy's his enforcer.
Vanessa's
Yeah,
yeah, Vanessa's husband, yeah.
yeah. Um, but Vanessa is,
Oh, she is smitten.
she's smitten with
She
Joey.
is so charmed by that man.
Oh yeah, and you know what? I'm really happy for John Lindstrom because he wasn't
Mhm.
getting anything near as good on General
Right.
Hospital as he is right
Yeah,
now.
he's definitely, getting to play in the
Yeah,
acting sandbox with this one. Yeah.
I'm enjoying it, and I love, I kind of love how he's really being very manipulative of Vanessa right now.
He is.
How he's,
Oh, I know. And he did not bat an eye when she called him out for the dead
no,
mother. It's like he knew that it
it
would,
was
you know what I
coming.
mean, that she'd figure it out, and he already had the next story ready.
Yeah, yep,
Slick, smooth motherfucker.
yeah.
Smooth man.
I mean, he's been around Sonny Carritos for so many years.
Okay,
Probably took a
no.
couple
Why do you
lessons.
ruin this? Why do you ruin it? Why? I'm going to see you in public. I'm going to see you face to face this week, and I'm going to have to,
uh, but either
we were
way, you
having
know what?
such a nice moment too. Jeez.
Either way, the show is going very well. Um,
Mhm.
I like how um, I'm really enjoying everything about the show right now.
Mhm.
It's still new, it's got to
Yes.
get its footing. It's settling in.
Mhm.
It's got to drop a couple of these bombshells. Um, so ultimately, just watch it as a fan
Mhm.
and pray that they bring more soaps back. The fact that we got a new soap opera, you know,
Please. Yes.
um, is the most important thing, and it's been firing on all cylinders.
And believe me, I can't get into it right yet, but I will be able to soon. There is a rising interest in soap operas.
Oh yeah,
I'm just going to leave that there, and it's being noticed. I'll leave it
yeah,
there.
yep. Sounds
So,
good to me. But folks,
mhm.
we're gonna take off for the night. wanted to kind of catch you guys up on what's going on briefly on Beyond the Gates at General Hospital. Angela, where can everybody find you?
Twitter, pattyprattle.com. My DMs are open. Angela Ryan Duncan on Facebook, and I'm around. You guys know.
Sounds good. And I'm at Vinny Suds on Twitter, Vinny Suds on Facebook, at Suds Media on Twitter as well. Suds-media.com for everything. And again, if you want to buy our merch, suds-media.com/merch. And you can buy whatever you want with our logo on it and help promote the show. Again, this coming Sunday, Angela and I are going to meet Laura Wright, Fennell Hughes, and James Patrick Stewart. We are going to present Laura Wright with the Lifetime Achievement Championship belt. Still have time to get in to help offset the cost and donate some money. buymeacoffee.com/Suds Media. And if you do, your name will go on the thank you card that we're going to give to Laura Wright as well as the belt, so that she sees, the fans. But folks, thank you so much for tuning in. Next week we'll be back to 2 shows. Tomorrow, Kim and I will be recording Dockside at the Bay, and then that'll be released on Thursday. Patreon first, early and ad free, so patreon.com/Suds and Sports Circle, and you can get all of our pre-recorded shows early and ad-free. So we are out of time, folks. Have a good night. Enjoy the rest of the night. Enjoy soap operas.
Yep.
And we'll see you next week. Same soapy time, same soapy network.
We'll be
Have
here.
a great night, everybody.
Bye.